So my topic is regulation of respiration. So the normal respiration rate is 12 to 16 per minute with the tidal volume 500 ml. It includes two mechanisms, the nervous mechanism and chemical mechanism. In nervous mechanism there are the two systems, autonomic control of respiration and voluntary control of respiration. In autonomic control of respiration there are the two respiratory centers. First medullary respiratory centers and pontine respiratory centers. In medullary respiratory centers, there are two respiratory group of neurons. First, the dorsal respiratory group of neurons and ventral respiratory group of neurons. Okay. Then its features. First, situation. The dorsal group of neurons is situated in nucleus tractus solitarius, and the ventral group of neurons is situated in nucleus ambiguous and nucleus retroambiguous. Then its types of neuron. In dorsal group of neuron there is inspiratory neurons, and in ventral group of neuron there is inspiratory and expiratory both. Then its function. So the dorsal group of neurons is active during inspiration, and the ventral group of neurons is active during forced breathing and inactive during quiet breathing. Then the pontine respiratory centers, it consists apneustic center and pneumotoxic center. Then its features. First is situation. So the apneustic center is situated in reticular formation of lower bones, and pneumotoxic center is situated in reticular formation of upper bones. Then the function. So the apneustic center is increase the depth of the inspiration, and the pneumotoxic center is increase respiratory rate by reducing the rate of inspiration. And all these respiratory centers are bilaterally represented on stem cells with same sided control, and they both can freely communicate to each other. Then voluntary control of respiration. Nervous mechanism में दो centers थे, autonomial or voluntary. Autonomial we already discussed, that voluntary control of respiration. Voluntary control of respiration, the respiration modified in both the rate and depth, but for a specific time only. For example, hyperventilation, breath holding, forced inspiration and forced expiration. And all these pathways are controlled by the corticospinal tract, that is originates from the cerebral cortex and end to spinal motor neurons. Then the factors that affecting the respiratory centers. First the chemical stimulation, second the non-chemical stimulation. In non-chemical stimulation we discuss in point by points. First afferent from higher centers, cerebral cortex. In electrical stimulation in certain areas of cerebral cortex will inhibit the respiration, and electrical stimulation of certain areas of motor cortex will inhibit the respiration. Then hypothalamus and limbic system, means pain and emotional disturbance acts through the hypothalamus and limbic system. So the hypothalamus and limbic system will stimulate the respiration. Then vagal from inflation and deflation receptors in the lungs. Means these are the stress receptors which are present in smooth muscles of airway that play in medulla. Then afferent from pharynx, trachea and bronchi, means throughout the airways from trachea to bronchi there are some myelated endings which act as irritant receptors. And when this stimulates produce tachypnea, means breathing rapidly. Then afferent from baroreceptors and chemoreceptor, means stimulation of baroreceptors causes inhibition of respiration, and in stimulation of chemoreceptors will increase the rate and depth of respiration. Then afferent from proprioceptor. Proprioceptors are stimulated during the muscular exercise and send impulses to the brain that causes hyperventilation. Then we discuss chemical mechanism. Chemical mechanism adjust ventilation, means जो alveolar PCO2 को normal value पे constant रखता है, that is 40 mmHg, and it also maintains the tension of O2, CO2, H plus of blood. And all these changes are mediated by chemoreceptors. So these respiratory chemoreceptors are of two types. First the peripheral chemoreceptors, second the medullary chemoreceptor. So now we discuss about its features. So first the situation. Peripheral chemoreceptors, there is two or more aortic bodies near arch of aorta, and two carotid bodies bodies near common carotid artery. Then medullary chemoreceptor is situated on the ventral surface of medulla near the respiratory center but separate from it. Then its innervation. In peripheral chemoreceptors, aortic bodies by aortic nerve and carotid bodies by carotid sinus nerve. And medullary chemoreceptors, they directly project to the respiratory centers. Then its stimulation. So the peripheral chemoreceptors are stimulated by stimulated by the decrease in PeO2 and increase in PCO2, the cyanide or nicotine. And the medullary chemoreceptors are stimulated by increase in H plus ion, that is inhibited by the anesthesia, cyanide and during sleep. Then the effects of stimulation in peripheral chemoreceptors, it increase rate and depth of respiration and also produce tachycardia. And it also regulates the respiration from breath to breath. And in medullary chemoreceptors, it regulates the respiration from minute to minute and it also increase rate and depth of respiration only.